the Biden administration had proposed a big, once-in-a-generation infrastructure investment. Roads, bridges, airports, trains, charging stations for electric cars. Do you know that China installed more charging stations for electric cars in December alone than we have in our entire country? In 1 month, they installed more than we have total in our country coast to coast. The Biden infrastructure bill would wildly expand our electric vehicle charging stations. It would build 100% broadband access for everybody in the country, even in the most rural areas. It would shore up our ridiculously fragile electric grid and our transmission lines for electricity. It would put tons of people to work doing things like replacing lead pipes in everybody's water systems and cleaning up abandoned oil wells and gas wells and mines, cleaning up those sites and sealing them up. There's a lot of work to be done there, which would do a lot of good. The average hospital in this country is about 11 years old. The average veterans hospital is nearly 60 years old. One of the things Biden's infrastructure bill would be to rebuild and modernize our VA hospitals for our vets. They're on average 58 years old. Anyway, what Biden is proposing in terms of infrastructure in total and in its individual parts is very popular stuff. The Republicans don't want to do it, though. And President Biden says, as he's wont to say, that he would love Republicans to support the bill. He wants a bipartisan plan. There's no reason this should be a Democrats-only kind of thing. But the Republicans just really don't want to do it, which was made very, very clear today, which is why I'm saying, OK, now maybe we're getting somewhere, because clarity matters for stuff like this. What Biden had proposed was $2.25 trillion on infrastructure. The Republicans said no, they'd rather spend about a quarter of that. And the Biden White House and the Republicans in the Senate have been meeting. Today, the Biden administration released their counteroffer after all of their negotiations with the Republicans, basically saying we'd love to do something with you in a bipartisan way. Here, in the spirit of compromise, is a new proposal from us that goes quite some distance toward what you're proposing instead. The White House said today they would cut President Biden's infrastructure plan way down. They'll make the proposal weaker and less ambitious because that's what the Republicans want. They literally, in the new plan, would propose doing tens of billions of dollars less work on roads and bridges and even broadband, since that's what the Republicans want. The White House's revised proposal today, this offer to the Republicans, cut basically 25% off of what President Biden had previously planned to do. The Republicans responded by saying, yeah, we don't care. we still don't like it. Thanks for nothing. We're not any closer to anything that we're going to vote for. No, we still hate it. And that, honestly, is good news if you are rooting for infrastructure investment in this country. Because it's clarity. Because the Biden administration has made this protracted good faith effort. They have made huge concessions to the Republicans to make their own proposal, to make the Biden proposal weaker and less effective, since that's what the Republicans want. The Republicans don't want it anyway, which means now everybody has clarity. We can all see and agree that there is no future in which Republicans are going to have some civic-minded awakening and decide, oh, actually, yes, the country really does need this stuff, so let's work with Democrats to pass something instructive. Right? There's no future in which that happens, in which any considerable number of Republicans, let alone 10 senators, cross over and vote with Democrats to get infrastructure done. It's never going to happen. Which means, like COVID relief, their big success story thus far, Democrats can now have clarity. They can now set aside, leave in the past, the talking to Republicans and making the bill weaker and worse part of this. And instead, they can just now get to work on passing it themselves. And I know this is not what you are hearing from the Beltway Press today. The Beltway Press today is all focused on, the White House made a counteroffer, but it still did not please the Republicans. What does this mean for the bipartisan future that both sides say they're blah, blah, blah? There was never a bipartisan future. Republicans are never going to vote for anything that Biden wants to do. Mitch McConnell says he is 100% focused on blocking the Biden agenda. Credit him for telling the truth. They're never going to vote for what Biden wants. And now we all know on both sides that that's the future. And so that clarity is beneficial. to the prospects of getting infrastructure passed. And the actual most important news of the day is something first reported by Punchbowl News this morning, then later confirmed by NBC News. The most important news of the day is that staffers to Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader, and Senator Bernie Sanders, their staffers yesterday started meeting with the parliamentarian in the Senate, who is the person they need to give them permission to pass the infrastructure bill without any Republican votes at all, if no Republican votes are coming. That is how they passed COVID relief. That is why COVID relief was such a success, why it wasn't watered down, and why they were able to get it done fast enough to actually help people and make a difference. That is also how they can now move forward on infrastructure, and they have started the process.